What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about WLFI, World Liberty Financial today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. We have an official listing of all spot positions on various exchanges. Let's see. On MEXC, Gate.io, OKX, Bybit. Is it on Binance? I don't know if Binance has spot positions. Do they not? USD ones. Yeah, it looks like all these ones. Blowfin, KuCoin. We've got it all, man. We've got it all except for Binance and for Coinbase, and Kraken. Other than those major exchanges, basically everything else does have this thing listing. You guys know how I feel about exchange listings. Typically, that does promote a lot of selling pressure, and well, we're selling ahead of time into that. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of volatility, and we might be at an area to bounce now. This thing could come up a little bit before it proceeds lower, but typically, whenever you do get an exchange listing, like let's see, if we were looking at this here, if we were looking at WLFI USDT on MEXC, let's do Bybit. Bybit's a good one, yeah. If we were to take this into account, it's brand new, right? Brand new listing. Typically, whenever you list on an exchange like Bybit or Binance, you drop 60% or more, right? Typically, that's what happens. So I would expect overall, if it's at 25.6 cents, if anybody's jumping on the train right now, hopping on the wagon, trying to catch it at a low price because the perps have dropped it down a little bit ahead of schedule, I think that if you wait a little bit longer, you'll have a chance to buy this thing probably below 15 cents, right below 15 cents, if not even lower. 60% is just the tip of the iceberg. Sometimes we do see 70% drops or even more, so you could go to 10 cents or lower. And we'll go over that. I think we'll be able to divulge more information by looking at the perpetuals charts here, because this, I think, will impact what we're seeing here. I do expect that we're going to bounce from here, so don't get carried away. If you're watching this video and we're at higher prices, don't FOMO, okay? Please don't FOMO. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do whatever you want. But if we're looking at this from a relative low to a relative high, we are at the golden ratio. We're right here at the golden ratio, right before, from this relative low to this relative high, we bounced right off the 0.5, okay? Now we're at the golden ratio, a little bit of a deeper retracement. We have a lot of volume coming in here. We have a bit of a double bottom. We're finding support right here, and I do believe that we are going to come up out of this, probably to, we're at 26.3 cents now, maybe to 28 cents, maybe to 30.3 cents, maybe even higher than that, but and it's very possible that you could even see a higher high before going lower. Sometimes you do get this wicked volatility on first day listings, but I would stay away until you see an overall 60% drop. And that 60% drop does start from whatever the highest point is that we see before the drop happens. So if we were to come back up here and then go down, that 60% drop now would be factored in up here. Does that make sense? That's just kind of how it is. How do I know this? Why do I know this? Why is that a rule, at least in my playbook? Because whenever I was bored and I was doing analysis in my early years, I literally went through hundreds of coins, you guys, that got listed on Coinbase and Binance specifically, the two top exchanges in the world. And when they get listed, I measured what their high was. Typically, they find their high within the first 2 weeks, typically. Sometimes they find it in that first 2 hours. Sometimes they find it within the first 2 months, but typically it's within the first 2 weeks. So again, we can move up wherever that high is within the first 2 weeks of listing, and typically it's even more typical than that. It's within like the first 2 days. Wherever the high is within those first 2 weeks of listing, you measure down. It's 65% is the average drop, but it's like 60 to 75% is what you see as a given range. Right? And sometimes if you're less than 60%, it's pretty abnormal. If you drop more than 75%, that's also pretty abnormal. But typically that's what you get. So it would be very odd if from this high, if this were the high, or from whatever high it might presume after this, it'd be very odd if we didn't get some kind of massive drop, especially with all of these exchange listings. Right? Oh, hey, Binance did list. Did this just happen? Oh, wow, it did just happen. Okay, so that's why. Binance just listed. Okay. So it is on Binance too. But you've got the biggest exchange in the world, and you've got a lot of other top exchanges in the world listing you. There's going to be selling pressure. Think of it like this. The reason why exchange listings are selling pressure, because whenever exchanges are getting a coin, right, they are accumulating it. Or they're being given the coin, whatever, but they're accumulating it. There's a supply shock, and the price has an easier time moving up because of that. Whenever the exchanges list, They're no longer accumulating the coin. They've got enough of the coin. They feel so confident that they have enough that they're ready to list it. And what are they doing now? They're selling it to you, the person buying it on the exchange. So that accumulation pressure turns into selling pressure from the biggest entities in the space, which are crypto exchanges. It causes the price to move down. So just be aware. We absolutely have lower to go in this thing. Absolutely we do. But first, maybe we move up a little bit. Again, low to high. We're finding support right here at the golden ratio. It's very typical when you find support at the golden ratio to move up to the 0.5382 area, this kind of zone as a whole. Could you go higher? Sure, we'll go over that. But I think, 28 cents to 30.5 cents is a good enough area to account for at the moment. And then maybe you move down. If you see a movement up like this where you get either to this line or to this line or somewhere in this zone and you return back to the golden ratio, I would not expect a double bottom. I would not expect that. I would expect that you do push lower. You probably do push through and maybe you go to the 786, 886 area, you find support there, come back up to your golden ratio where you find resistance, and then you push lower for your final descent down to prices that are at 16 cents and below, right? 16.6 cents, 13 cents, even prices down at 10 cents. 10 cents, nice psychological support, could be where you find support there. And you could go lower too. It's very possible. But again, that would be an overall like 60% drop or more from a buy bid perspective once we get to that 15 cent and below. So I do think that we are going to go lower. Let's look at the short-term stuff. Okay, looking at the 1 hour time frame. I mean, this is all short-term. It's very new, right? Looking at the 15-minute time frame, actually, because it is so new. We do have bullish divergence, and this is what makes me think that we're going to move up, right? You've got higher lows in the RSI here, lower lows in the price, okay? A little bit of a bearish candle on that last candle there, but I'm not wooed by it. I'm not swayed. I think that we are going to continue to move up. Bouncing right off the oversold zone is a positive enough sign, but having bullish divergence on top of that, that would at least be good for a move here. At least be good for a move here. Typically with bullish divergence, you go through where the point of divergence began, which is here. So that 28 cent area coming up again, 28 to 30.5 cents. That's the target area in mind. Makes sense that we would go there from here, right? Go to 28 to 30.5 cents. That's this area, right? Like from here to here. And what is that? That's just a lower high in this range. It's perfect. It literally is perfect. It makes all the sense in the world. That's probably where you're going to go. We look at this and the RSI makes sense to go there too. I wonder if we pull up other indicators. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I did not mean to pull up the ribbon. We don't need the ribbon, man. It's too new. It's not going to help us. Let's see. I wish this would just save in automatic, because these being automatic definitely helps. Okay, there we go. MACD is bearish. Stochastics are looking bullish on the 15-minute, but 2 to 1 bullish. I'm going to lean on the bullish effect there. Of course, if we see the price starting to close on a 15-minute time frame below like 25 cents, I would say then I'm wrong. We're not moving up to 28 to 30.5 cents. We have lower to go first, and then maybe we'll see a little volatility. I don't expect it to just be a straight shot down. But again, exchange listings are very, very bearish implications for anything really. The smaller the exchange, the less bearish. The bigger the exchange, the more bearish. Does that make sense? 1 hour MACD crossing below here. That's not good. That's not a good look at all. Stochastics look bearish. The RSI looks like it wants to bounce off the oversold zone, which is nice. You'll probably come up and find resistance at the 40 or at best the 50 and then come back down. Yeah, you're in this overall downward trend. I wouldn't be surprised if you made your way up to the 50, but probably a little bit lower to go. You're just getting started with this move to the downside is kind of my perspective at the moment. If we're looking at this on a 4-hour time frame, again, taking into account that we are here, right, low to high at the golden ratio. Oh, look at that. And you're finding some support there. That's nice. Low to high here. I'm just going to overlay some stuff. Back test your golden ratio here on this relative one before you make your way down to your extensions, which your extensions are in that next target area to the downside, which would be at like 23 to 21.6 cents, the 786, 886 area here. This is where I think you'll go next, where you'll find support next, move up, come down, right, all that stuff. That's right at our 1272. Okay, might you do that? Come up to the golden ratio here on this shorter fib, on this smaller fib. I know I have them overlaid. Let me delete it so it's easier to see. Come up to this golden ratio, find resistance there. That's right at 30 cents. Okay, right there at 30 cents, right there at 29 to 30 cents, which is that same area that we've been identifying, a little bit more refined there. 29 to 30 cents, find resistance there, and then continue to move down. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I think that sums it up for me, man. I believe that we're going to see this thing move up to 29 to 30 cents, and then it probably resumes moving down. We'll see it move down to 23 to 21.6 cents, if not by the end of today, the 1st of September, maybe sometime tomorrow, the 2nd. A little bit of volatility here and there. I don't expect it to just be a straight drop all the way down, but I believe this move will persist at least to 16.5 cents, if not at most somewhere to 10 cents. It could go lower. It's very possible, but I need to see more in the charts before I'm under that camp, under that belief, in that camp of belief. I don't know why I can't talk. Let's look at WLFI. What's the market cap? WLFI. When Lambo Financial. That's funny. 6.4 billion, 1.8 in volume. Yeah, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I've never seen a coin that comes out at listing price at a multi-billion-dollar market cap that did not drop fantastically. So expect that over the coming months, if not over the coming weeks at the very least, we're going to see some extreme downside pressure. Oh, but this is Trump's coin. Yeah. I don't care. I like Trump too, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is what they call a money grab, right? You create a coin like this, and of course they're going to do it. Of course they're going to sell and grab money. Why wouldn't they? They can sell you their coin and then buy a bunch of different cryptos that are on discount that aren't their coin, right? And invest and spread things around, right? This is a money grab. It absolutely clearly is. If you think, and not financial advice, not a financial advisor, if you think this coin is going to 100x from here this cycle, that would mean it would go to a $640 billion market cap. No crypto in existence has ever gone above a $200 billion market cap, or even I think $150 billion in its first cycle. And only two have gone above $100 billion in their first cycle, and that's XRP and Ethereum. Could this one go above $100 billion? Sure, but what is that? From here, a 10x is 65 or 64 billion. A 20x would be 130 billion essentially. You're at best, your best possible scenario that's super unlikely to happen, you would do a 20x, which is the average expectation of the average altcoin. Do you not think the people behind this coin aren't going to sell their coin because it's at a high valuation and buy other coins that could outperform that? You know what I mean? And then maybe return those funds back to their project, whatever, or go on vacation with it, whatever it is that they do. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't buy it here. And if you think that it's a good long-term perspective, I mean a good long-term hold, there's other things I'm sure going on with it besides just investing that you can participate in the ecosystem. There's other benefits, but I don't know, man. I would just not invest in this at all. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I would stay away. If you want to trade it, again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but going short is probably a good option. That's probably the best option here. This thing is probably going to make a lot of money for people who short it, but if you're investing in it, if you're just buying it, you're probably going to get steamrolled over the coming days and coming weeks. So I've got nothing else for you. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I expect a lot of scathing comments because I know a lot of people like WLFI. I know a lot of people have a lot of faith and hope and belief in it. I've made these videos before, and I don't think I think I'm batting 1,000 this cycle for coins that I've called out because it's so easy. It's so easy to call for coins that are going to drop over time in a very short amount of time that have just gotten listed. When their market cap is worth multiple billions of dollars, it's not even a thought. It's the thought is down, absolutely. I very much doubt that we see this thing grow to any degree. It's going to, I mean, it will. I think it will inevitably see higher market cap than it is even now. I think it will inevitably even see higher prices than it is now after it drops. But first, it's going to drop. It's going to drop a lot. Okay, so prepare yourselves. But first, before that drop, and in a very short amount of time, I am expecting that we go up to about 29 to 30 cents. Okay, somewhere in that area. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.